Hello and welcome back to Mercury Rising. Can you feel it? This tiny ball in space is getting whipped around the sun, and right now on the other side of the sun, it's Aries. Shit's happening. It's springtime, y'all. So, as such, I have noticed some dramatic changes, just in like my circadian rhythms and things like that. Started waking up before my alarm. It's like not even 8 o'clock yet, and I've already been up and coffeeed and had to drive my fiance's wallet because he almost ran out of gas on his way to work. You know, up and doing all of the things. So, figured that I was sitting here, I decided I wanted to make a video because I've been kind of neglecting things over here on this channel, but kind of been neglecting things on YouTube in general, and as such, I will be posting weekly videos at least. I decided that my channels are still kind of babies, especially the ultrahuman channel. I really, I like what I was doing over there, and I was actually doing such a good job, for a beginner, of putting together these like well-researched videos that had little scripts and everything, and I was kind of afraid to start putting out content that didn't meet those standards of like what I was initially putting out. So, you know, not that the first videos that I was putting out were like especially great. I know that I have a lot of room to improve, but they were scripted and researched and just of a format where I didn't want to go on there and start mucking things up with kind of these more chatty videos, which a lot of people really like these videos, I know, here on this channel. And so I decided that I would just have some separation. I'm going to have a weekly video that's going to come out every Tuesday over on Ultrahuman, where I'm just going to sit down and have this kind of chatty conversation around the topics of being your best human and health and video ideas, and maybe do like Q&A type videos on those Tuesday videos, or at least just address folks in the comments and things like that. Those are videos that I'm going to keep for Tuesdays, and then that still leaves room for another video a week where I can do some more research and I can put things together and it can be a little more polished and scripted, and I don't have to trail off on things. And I think that that's going to allow me to do a lot in a couple of ways, because I will not only have those polished up and scripted videos still, and hopefully I just keep getting better at those. I need to do some things like get some real editing software. I'm using UCut on my phone, which isn't terrible. They've actually, from the time I initially got it, I was very frustrated with some of the features, and it would go down, like the whole thing would just close out, and sometimes that would mean that I would lose my project. And since then, in the last 6, 8, 9 months since I started using it, they've had significant updates and improvements, and they've added features that have really gotten rid of a lot of the frustration that I was having before. So UCut, if you're editing from your phone, is not a bad way to go anymore. I couldn't really suggest it before because there were so many bugs and little things that would just drive me nuts. But now I actually feel like it's not bad. I haven't seen anything better for the phone. But I'd like to, for example, with the Ultrahuman channel, especially since I do homeschooling, I really feel like there's a need for videos that are informative and entertaining, maybe with some animations. I feel like the only other people that do that are like the lovely folks over at Crash Course, but there's this really big gap between, like, the Crash Course videos that are really kind of meant for, like, adults and high schoolers, and the Crash Course videos, like the SciShow and things like that, that are really obviously meant for kids, like obviously like the SciShow Kids. I feel like the SciShow Kid ones are great for introducing, like, my 5-year-old to the idea of something and getting him interested so that then I can actually sit down with him and teach him more about the subject, which is fine. I mean, that's basically what we do, since I do homeschool. I don't expect that, you know, there's going to be something I can sit him down in front of on the internet that's just going to fill his brain up with all of the right information. But I guess what I'm saying is that I'd love one of these days, and this is a much longer term goal probably, but to work with, like, an animation team, to make shorter, maybe half-hour long videos, that really play to the education, like the edutainment style of videos. But what I notice is, like, we all know, maybe we don't all know, I know, and a lot of people know, a lot of scientists out there know, that the kinds of colorful shit coming at your face, all that stuff it's really bad for child brain development. And so something that is slower paced, maybe like a little bit more coming at you than like a Mr. Rogers, but like more like that. Because I even noticed with my own kids, when I first introduced them to Mr. Rogers, they thought that the opening song was nice, and then they were just like, it's not enough. It's not enough. What is this guy doing? He's going so slow. And we have to wait so long for the next thing to happen. And I felt bad because I was like, wow, I didn't even realize how much I'd been exposing you guys to things that are making you expect to be entertained constantly. And like I was saying, like, basically we know scientifically at this point that that's not good for the child brain development. They're over that. I've gotten a lot better about saying no, about TV and things like that. We don't have a screen-free house or anything like that. Exactly. But the kids don't have access to, like, my phone or tablets or anything like that. They watch things on, computers. We have laptops, and so if they want to watch a movie, Mom and Dad put a movie on the laptop. They don't have free range access to screens and the internet and things like that. But I still think it's kind of too much. So yeah. Just because, like I said, I can see the difference of when I've been really relaxed about stuff and I let them watch like a whole season of Pokemon one day. The next day, if I try and put on something like Mr. Rogers, like, they're gonna gnaw their little arms off because they're just like, I never let them sit down and watch an entire season of Pokemon in one day, which I'm sure some parents out there are like, you what? On both sides. So there you go. But yeah, and I want to come back to this channel with some more structure and do some more of these, like, Pacific Northwest lifestyle vlogging. And I guess on that note, I'll just say that, like, we made it through the winter. Thank God. It's kind of how I started things off in this video. It's springtime. It's so great. Spring rain is so different than winter rain. It's warm. I I dropped some stuff in a puddle the other day, and I reached into the puddle, and it was like a nice, cool, lukewarm. It wasn't freezing. Like, my hand didn't feel like I was going to have frostbite by the time I walked into the house. That's also a little bit gross. Warm puddles. But it's nice that not everything is just freezing cold. The rain isn't freezing cold. And it comes with all these pretty flowers. So that's always really nice too. Like I was saying before, I've been waking up early, and so I'm hoping that turns into more creative time in the morning. I was learning about chronotypes and was Daniel Pink's book, When, which I canceled my Audible subscription because I felt like it was $15 a month I didn't need to necessarily be spending. But Daniel Pink's book, When, is something that I really do need to listen to because it's so in-depth about what is right for what time of day, what is not right for what time of day, and just what all of the implications are of the time of day and when things are happening. And so from a lot of his research, basically we know that, first of all, there are larks and night owls and people who are right in the middle somewhere. Most people are right in the middle somewhere. For one thing, I think that changes throughout your life, and I'm pretty sure I have heard him say that too. It's not like a set thing necessarily that is stagnant throughout your lifetime. However, it is kind of like you can't be a night owl chronotype physiologically and genetically and then just try and make yourself get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You can, obviously people do, but you're not going to get the same kinds of results as someone who is naturally a lark. Which is really unfortunate because there's just about as many night owl people out there as there are lark morning people out there. But our society is really geared to reward those morning people and really kind of punish the night owl. So that's something I remember thinking about a lot when I worked at a gas station that was 24 hours or the convenience store that was 24 hours, and just seeing the different ways that people would come into the store, both very early in the morning, because I was still there at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and late at night, and in the very middle of the night, and thinking about like, man, there has to be like an ethical way to find people who are actually geared to be up right now, and who would get some kind of like a benefit out of working late into the night. Because I was trying to imagine what I always had this idea of starting a convenience store. I would call it conscientious convenience. And the interesting thing is actually here in the Eugene area, there are places called Sequential Mart, where they offer biofuel, they offer electronic refueling stations for cars. They have regular gas, and then they have like local on-tap kombucha and organic espresso drinks, and so they have like a green roof. So yeah, and then they have big solar panels, like instead of where you pull in to get the gas for your car, instead of just having like a roof, they have big solar panels that are what would block rain and sunshine. So that's kind of like I'm glad somebody's doing it, because I'm not that jazzed about being in the convenience store business, but thank God somebody was, because that business model had to be out there somewhere. And yeah, I think that there's a way to like somehow in the interview process, maybe just like find people who are actually night people and reward them for that by having them scheduled for those hours where they're actually at their peak and they're going to do their best work. And then hire morning people for the morning shift, and not just kind of try and shove everyone into whatever sleep schedule is convenient for the business or whatever. Yeah, and like I was saying, I really think I actually fall on the larky side of things. I really, like, today I woke up to the phone call from my fiance letting me know that he had ran out of gas. He hadn't completely ran out of gas, but he was pretty sure he was about to, and he realized that he had forgotten his wallet. And that was just after 7 o'clock, or no, it was just before 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was just so glad to be out of bed and be up, and I felt good. And I haven't been able to get out of bed that early, when there wasn't an emergency in a few months because of the winter hours and everything. But I'm hoping that since I did today, and since I was, decided to do something like make this video, that I should be able to keep doing this. We'll see where that goes. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I didn't intend to go over 10 minutes, but it's been more than 15. So I will leave it there. Just gonna set this down here on YouTube. See where it goes. Expect to see more of me. The weather is right. The sun is right. The stars are aligned. And I should be back soon. Get out there and be your best human. Thanks!